Hi everyone, welcome back to Spratt STEM Academy. Today we're going to be doing more on metric conversions. This is going to be a practice video where we do some practice word problems that kind of apply metric conversions to real life scenarios. If you haven't seen my video on metric conversions, I'll be sure to have that link in the description, and in the top right corner of this video, you can also click the link on the iCard. So let's get started. Our first problem states a nurse gives a patient a 500 milligram tablet of ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. How many grams of vitamin C did the patient receive? So we know here that we're wanting to take 500 milligrams and we want that in grams. And so we have to do a conversion here. Now, you could do the math, or we're going to be using my metric conversions trick. That's going to make this a little bit easier for ourselves. So if you recall, all you have to do is write down your little key, which I have right here, and remember the order KHD, BDCM, and you can use whatever mnemonic you need to memorize that. But I use King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. That's just what works for me. But like I said, you can use any mnemonic that helps you memorize this. Now, the important part is to remember your start and your end. So where you're starting, which here we're starting with 500 milligrams, and our end is going to be grams because that's what we want our final unit to be in, so grams. Now, if we look at our key, we're going to look for milli because mg is milligrams. And if you recall, milli is going to be this M right here. So this is where we're starting. So I'm going to write start. And we want our N to be in grams. And remember, there's no G on here. So when you just have grams, that's going to be the base. So that's a base unit. So that's our end. And now all you have to do is jump from each unit to get from your start to your end. So we're going to start at our M and jump 1, 2, 3. So it took 3 jumps or places to the left to get to our end. And this is really important, so keep that in mind, 3 places to the left. So I'm gonna write down 500.0 because those places, those jumps that we just made are actually decimal place movements. So we're going to be moving the decimal place in the original value 3 places to the left. And I'll show this in a different color. Here's where our original decimal place is, right here. We're going to move that 3 to the left. So 1, 2, 3. And so our new value is 0.5 grams. And that's how you convert 500 milligrams to grams. So 500 milligrams is 0.5 grams. And don't forget to write your units, especially when you're doing word problems. So the patient received 0.5 grams of, vitamin C. Okay, so that's how we do our first problem. Let's go on ahead and take a look at our second problem. Our second problem states, your biology lab teacher has asked you to pour 500 milliliters of water into a beaker. How many liters of water did you pour into the beaker? So our first value, something that we know, is 500 milliliters of water. And they want us to put it in liters. So we know here that we have to do another conversion. So I'm going to write down our unit that we know, 500 milliliters. And we want to end in just liters. So how are we going to get from milliliters to liters? Let's look for the milli start point on our key. So I found it here at the end. That's our start. And our end, we want in liters. There's no L. So if we're just wanting liters, if we're just wanting liters, that is going to be a base unit. So once again, base is going to be our end. Now we take the jumps from our start to our end. So it's going to take 1, 2, 3. 3 places left once again. So let's rewrite our 500 and write it as a 0.0 just so we can see our decimal place visually. And we're going to go on ahead and move our decimal 3 places to the left. So 1, 2, 3. So 500 milliliters is 0.5 liters. And don't forget liters of water. When you're doing a word problem, always write your units. It's really important. Okay, so that is our second problem. Let's go on ahead and do our final problem. And let's do some more conversions. In this problem, it states that in your chemistry lab experiment, you must measure 4.35 grams of sodium chloride and pour it into 1.45 liters of water. If your scale measures in kilograms and you must report your amount of water in milliliters, what is the correct amount of kilograms you should put on the scale to ensure that you have the accurate mass of sodium chloride needed? And how many milliliters of water do you have? So in this problem, we have a lot. It looks like a lot, but in reality, all we're doing is just 2 simple conversions. Let's break this down though. Let's highlight the pieces of information that we know, which is that we have 4.35 grams of sodium chloride and 1.45 liters of water. So those are 2 things that we know. Those are 2 values that we know. And if you look at them more closely, you probably can get an idea that they're going to be your starting points for your conversions. They also told us that our scale measures in kilograms. So I'm going to highlight kilograms and keep that in mind. And let me use a darker color, kilograms. And it's also asking us to report the amount of water in milliliters, okay? And so also in this problem, we have 2 questions. We have to figure out amount of kilograms of salt, which is the sodium chloride. And we also need to figure out the milliliters of water. Okay, so those are 2 key pieces of information that we need to figure out. Let's first start with the 4.35 grams of sodium chloride. We know that we start in grams. So I'm going to write start on my little key here. And there's no G, so that means that we have to start at the B, which means base. So that's our start, because grams is a base unit. Now, where do we want to end? It's asking us to convert to kilograms, because if the scale measures in kilograms, that's what you're going to want your unit to be in. So we know that our end is going to be kilograms. And if we look for kilo on our key, we can see that it's right here at this K. So that's going to be our end. Now, how many places will it take to get from base to the kilo? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. It took 3 places to the left. And I'm just going to write L here. Okay? So we know that we have to move our decimal 3 places to the left in our 4.35 grams. So let's write 4.35. And since we have to move to the left 3 places, I'm going to add some extra zeros over to the left of this 4. Now let's actually move our decimal 3 places to the left. We start here and we go 1, 2, 3. And so our new value is 0.00435. And this is kilograms of sodium chloride. So we've now converted the grams to kilograms. And so if we were to put 0.00435 kilograms of sodium chloride on our scale for our experiment, we know that we have the correct amount that we need if we needed it in grams. So we've solved the first part of the problem. Let's move on to the milliliters of water. They're asking us to convert 1.45 liters to milliliters. So let's quickly do this conversion. 1.45 liters we want this to milliliters. And I'm just going to use this key up here at the top again. So I'm going to erase these. And we start at liters, which is our base unit. And we want to end in milliliters. So that's going to be this M, that's milli. It takes 1, 2, 3 places to the right to get to milli from base. So we're going to do 1.45. I'm adding some extra zeros because we have to move 3 places to the right. And let's move our decimal, 1, 2, 3. So our new value is 1,450 milliliters of water. And that is our final conversion from 1.45 liters to 1,450 milliliters of water. And so we've now solved this problem and we have our accurate conversions. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more.